What's up, everyone? It's Matt from Surf City TCG here with another deck guide and primer for you, this time on Sorin of House Markov from Modern Horizons 3. This is one of the new flip commanders, so it starts off as a creature, as you can see here, and then it flips over into this Planeswalker version, Sorin Ravenous Neonate, if you gain 3 or more life before your second main phase. So very, very easy to do, especially given that Sorin's got Extort, which by default in a 4-player game is going to gain you 3 life just by a single instance of it. So if you're weren't aware, the way Extort works is anytime you cast a spell, can be any spell, artifact, color, non-color, anything but a land, basically. You can pay either a white or a black mana, so a Orzhov hybrid mana, and if you do, each opponent loses 1, and you gain as much as was dealt. So if you're playing a 4-player game and all of your opponents are still alive, it's going to cause each of them to lose 1 life, and you will gain 3. If one of them had been knocked out or scooped or something, or you started in a 3-player game, then it's only going to cause them to lose 2 life, and you'll gain 2. Sorry, 2 total, not 2 apiece. So it's always 1 per opponent for each instance of extort. Um, that being said, if you have multiple things that give extort, you can extort however many times you want for each spell, for each instance of extort you have. So if you've got a Sorin in play and you've also got something like life insurance, which has extort, then every time you play a spell, you can pay either a white or a black mana twice to do that much times the number of opponents you have, 1 per instance. So if you have 2 things with extort in play, you cast 1 spell, you can pay 2 mana, and each opponent will lose 2 life, and you will gain 2 times the number of opponents. So 6 if you have 3 opponents, 4 if you have 2 opponents, so on and so forth. So we know that Sorin has extort, but what else does he do? So he says at the beginning of your post-combat main phase, if you've gained 3 or more life this turn, exile him, then return him transformed under your control. Notably, this is not a May. This will get you. I'll tell you right away that I still screw this up pretty frequently. But there's going to be a lot of times where you don't want to flip him because he's just a lot more vulnerable when he's in Planeswalker form. It's not that it's worse. I mean, this is, he's just a 1/4 like this with lifelink, so it's not like he's super impressive or anything. And the Planeswalker side has extort as well. So you might ask me, like, well, why wouldn't I want to flip him? The Planeswalker just seems better. Well, yeah, it is just better, except that people can attack it directly, and they cannot attack your creatures directly. Now, creatures tend to be more vulnerable to stuff like board wipes and pinpoint removal spells, but it's pretty uncommon that people will spend a pinpoint removal on a 1/4 commander that is 2 to cast. I'm not saying it won't happen, but he's definitely more vulnerable in Planeswalker form because then they can just send any random like dude or flyer they have at him and they can knock him out in that way. So my advice to you would be don't flip him until you are totally ready to defend him, or you really need to use his Midas ability. So let's get into what he does when he flips, because I'm sure you're all dying to know that. So he comes in with 3 loyalty counters. He's got extort still, like I mentioned, so you don't ever lose the extort as long as you have him in play. And his +2 is create a food token. Pretty useless. It's a life gain deck, so you'll use them sometimes, but we're not specifically playing any synergies related to this. You could throw an Academy Manufacturer in here, I guess, and like get some added bonus from that, but I don't think it's worth it. Uh, it's definitely not bad. I think if you wanted to, like, it's going to be decent, and a lot of times I will end up plussing him just because I don't necessarily want people to see the power of the -1 until I'm ready for them to see it. And sometimes it just makes sense to, like sometimes you'll be stuck or, you screwed up and flipped him when you didn't want to, and you just want to plus him to make him a little bit tougher so he can withstand a couple of like harrying attacks or something like that. So I use the +2 pretty frequently. not because I think it's good, but just because it's +2, and that's pretty good to get in either toward that ultimate, which I've literally not used once yet, but it's not bad. And people are very scared of it. Like they're always saying in games, like, "Oh my God, you're going to use -6," and like I kind of forgot he had -6, but not as bad. Like I think it's quite good, especially if you steal someone's commander. Like that's really bad for them. It's hard for them to get back. You get it with a lifelink counter. I think I probably should put more emphasis on using it, but I tend to avoid using things that steal people's shit because they don't like it. And if you know me by now, you know that I don't really care what people think, but I think it's better for my prospects of winning the game to not annoy people in such a way. Now, if it's going to lead to me winning the game, like pretty much immediately, you better believe I'm going to do it. So, but typically the way I like to play this deck is to focus on just getting a lot of value and kind of whittling people down by attrition by landing a bunch of extorts and then kind of knocking people out suddenly with big -1s. So I've talked a lot about the -1. What does it do? So -1, Sorin, Ravenous Neonate deals damage equal to the amount of life you've gained this turn to any target. So it can go face, it can go at creatures, it can go at planeswalkers. This is very flexible. It's only -1, which is wonderful. Like you can split him -1 and he's still at 2. He can survive like single point of damage, which is not irrelevant. A lot of times, like someone will have a 1/1 token, just straight token, and then they'll have a big blocker that you need to chump block. And then maybe the one will get through, but someone's still alive, meaning you can either +2 him in the following turn to get him back up to more relative safety, or you can just -1 him and recast him later. The great thing about Sorin, the thing that I believe makes him so powerful is that, first of all, his mana cost is so low, right? And the second thing is you can play him and pretty much guarantee that you're going to be able to flip him the same turn. All you have to do is cast him and then play one spell with Extort. That does 3 to everyone. It gains you 3. He's going to flip. And then boom, you've got access to his -1 right away. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll play him pretty early just so I can get the Extort train rolling. And then, people are going to take a few points of damage here and there, and they're not going to think anything of it. But what will happen is eventually they're going to look at your life total and be like, what the hell? Why are you at like 65? You're like, I don't know, I've extorted 5 times and gained 15. And then they don't like that. So they'll start focusing on it at that point, and maybe they'll knock out Sorin. And then you don't even have to replay him, honestly. Like what I would do after that happens, because that will happen, is then just focus on like building up your mana a little bit. Like, just set yourself up defensively, kind of pillow fort style, and just, knock out things that come at you or claim you're flooded or whatever you need to do, and just like get yourself rolling, get a like big draw engine in play, set yourself up to like land a big turn where you flip him and you maybe knock someone out of the game right away. It's not uncommon for me to flip him and just like do 15 to 20 to someone's face right away. So all you have to do is play like 3 or 4 spells with Extort, and you're already in the double digits of life gain. And that's not including any other sources of life gain you may have. Plus the incidental 1 that you get from swinging with him. Um, don't ignore that opportunity. As long as you have a safe attack against someone, you can get an extra point in of life gain. So don't ignore that. All those little differences can really add up, and it could be the difference between winning or losing a game at with someone at 1 life. It's happened. All right, so we've talked about what Sorin does. Let's talk about what our game plan is in general. I sort of alluded to it, but I'd classify this deck as a mid-range slash control deck. Our goal is to, like I said, win by attrition. Typically, we're going to be like slowly whittling away at people's lives. They're not going to realize we're going to be building up a lot of mana. We're going to be building up some big card advantage engines so that we end up in such a place where we are flush with resources. We've got a draw engine or two that's like churning. We have maybe negated all of the damage that has come at us or the life we've spent like on our draw engines. So let's go through the draw engines now because it would be a good place to start. Maybe I'll touch quickly on mana and ramp first. So I'm going to switch over to my types and tags, which you can get to by going to in Moxfield, the view settings group types and tags. And I've already got sorted by mana value, which I think will be a good place to start. So let's take a look at the mana and ramp. I'm running 16 sources. This is about where I like to be in a non-green deck. Like I'd say minimum 15. That's just my opinion. I know some people like closer to 10, but you know, I like to play decks that have a lot of mana and a lot of card advantage. And, those two things together are never a bad thing. So I would not dip much under this number if I were you. And actually, before we switch to types and tags, I just wanted to have a quick note on the lands because I'm running a very low land count. 30 is typically much less than I would recommend anyone run, no matter how low to the ground your deck is. You want to ensure you're hitting your land drops. But the reason I am running so few is I've got several things in here that are the functional equivalent of lands. So I'm going to talk through those when we go through the types and tags here. But if you're not running things like land tax, expedition map, tithe, weathered wayfarer, these are all kind of stand-ins for land because tithe is basically one white draw two land, and this is a reserveless card. It's a little bit pricey, so if you don't have it, you can just swap this out for a land or two. And then you could swap Weathered Wayfarer out for a land, you could swap Expedition out for a land. Like all of these things are kind of substitutes for lands. So if you don't have all of them, I wouldn't run so few lands. But we're running pretty much all of the main rocks. This is a power level 7 deck. Maybe it's like the high end of 7, but I'm not running Mana Crypt in here, and no Moxes, no Lotus Petal. I'm running Dark Ritual because I think it's a fair enough card where it's uh, maybe not fair enough, but it's ubiquitous enough, just like Soul Ring, that it's okay to run. No one's going to be like, "Oh my God, you're running Dark Ritual. That's not a power level 7 deck." And if they do, fuck them. Um, I'm trying out this card. I haven't drawn it yet, but it's pretty good. Like to be honest, I don't I I don't see a downside to this card. It just seems really good. The stacks part, like it's annoying, but it affects you too, and it's going to go away really fast. Like it only takes 3 non-creature spells for people to play for them to pop this, and then when it pops, you get to draw a card, so it replaces itself, and then you get to search up a plains and put it on the battlefield tap. So this is like a delayed rampant growth that also draws you a card, and it also forces your opponents to spend 3 extra mana spread out among them. Seems really good to me. I mean, I bought several copies, retrofoils, because I like the retrofoils, as you probably know. It's super cheap right now. This seems like a commander staple to me. I see myself putting this in every white deck I have going forward. Now, all that being said, I have not yet drawn or played it in a game, so take this with a grain of salt. But I just don't see this going poorly for you ever. Like, what's the worst case scenario? People stop playing non-creature spells and like you're forced to pop it. Even if that happens, who cares? Like, fine, pay the tax a few times. Like, yeah, it's not going to be worth it in that particular game. But I just don't see that happening that often. And we've got a high creature count in this deck anyway. We're at 34, so it's a third of our deck is creatures. So, you can set yourself up in such a way where this is going to be advantageous to you. Drop all your mana rocks first, or any non-creature spells you have. Or you get the benefit of the knowledge of knowing you have this in your hand. So you can play your cards in such a way that it makes sense where you play this last and then it kind of impacts everyone else a lot more because they didn't know it was coming. So test it out. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts on it. If you've played it or played against it, seems really good to me, and I'm curious to see how it goes. But I think it's going to be good. Deep Gnome Terramancer. This card's very hit or miss. Like some games, it just will do absolutely nothing. But you know what? Who cares? Because the games where it does do something, it's so powerful. If it gets you even one land, it's great. Then it's like akin to something like Knight of the White Orchid, which we know is great. Except this doesn't require an opponent to have more lands than you. and it can trigger multiple times, not in the same turn, but multiple times in a turn cycle. If you're playing against three greed opponents, you land this on turn two, and turns out they all had a Farseek to play on turn two. Well, you're in business. Now, that's pretty magical Christmas land in terms of like, reality and actually happening. A lot of times you'll flash this in because like you'll hold up two mana, and you'll see me do this a lot if you watch my games. Like you'll hold up two mana for it to flash it out, and then like no one plays anything, and you're just like, all right, I'm going to flash it out anyway because I'm not going to lose the tempo and just hang on to this when no one played anything this turn anyway. So you just flash it out, and then sometimes they'll play into it, or sometimes they'll forget about it. Sometimes they'll just never play anything. You know, a lot of players don't play fetch lands. They don't know how powerful they are. They don't have them. But I think with Modern Horizons 3 pushing the allied colored fetch lands into like much easier access, this card's gonna prove its worth more often than not. So try it out, see what you think. It doesn't only work in the cases of ramp, like stuff like Farseek, Rampant Growth, Cultivate, Kadamas Reach. It also works with fetch lands. It also works with Terramorphic Expanse, Evolving Wilds. If you if you what is it called, demolition field someone's land, and then they have to go find a basic to replace the land you destroyed, that triggers it. You have to exile someone's creature, they go get a land to replace it, that triggers it. Same thing with Assassin's Trophy, so on and so forth. So really flexible card. Just make sure you're keeping an eye out for the triggers because it's kind of hard to catch sometimes. And then just pretty standard ramp stuff. Oh, this is a one I'm testing out. I haven't really gotten it yet, but we have a lot of two drop permanents in this deck. I actually built the deck in such a way that there would be a like heavy amount of two drops. So yeah, we have 21 two mana spells that are permanents and 13 that are three. So this seems pretty good to me. It's like a little bit slower of a rock, 3 mana, but it's very potentially powerful, right? You can, after only tapping it twice, you can then tap it, remove two counters, and return all two drop permanents from your graveyard to the battlefield. So that seems like a really strong effect, especially late game. And it's a very low cost to run it because at worst it's just a 3 mana rock, which is not something I would run in my deck normally. But I think having the flexibility of that late gameplay makes this card worth it. But it's possible I'll end up removing this eventually. I'll just test. I like to test out new cards, and I just had my eye on this one as being a decent option. Cool. So that's pretty much the ramp. Let's talk about, I guess, just one other thing on Weathered Wayfarer, one of my favorite cards of all time. This is a subtly but extremely powerful card that, like, as long as you're not going first, if you are going first and you draw this in your opener, I'm sorry for you. But typically, like, as long as you're not going first, this is just like tutor up any land you want every single turn. So find your board, find Cabal Coffers, find Horizon of Progress, find whatever land you want to fit the given situation. Such a good card. What I normally actually do first is find Orso Basilica, which is the bounce land, because that way you ensure that you're always a land behind everyone. And if you are going first with the Weather Wayfarer and you have the Orzhov Basilica in your opener or you draw it, then you're in good shape too, because you can still end up with less land than someone. Or if of course, if the green player ramps, then they're +1 land anyway, and you're in good shape. So Weather Wayfarer is super good card. People will not usually give it a second thought, but this is the kind of card that very subtly but very powerfully wins you games without anyone even realizing it's happening. And then since I'm running Cabal Coffers and Urborg, I am running the contingent of cards to find those pieces more consistently, being Urza's Cave, Expedition Map, and I also like this new one, Grim Servant, which can tutor any land by default because it will tutor you for something with devotion of one or less because it's one no matter what. I mean, even if they remove this with the tutor on the stack and you have no other black pips, you still get to find a land or any other zero drop. So I really like this guy because he can find you a land. which is often what I want to be doing anyway. If I'm playing something more powerful like Demonic Tutor or Vampiric Tutor, I'd say more than half the time when I cast one of those spells in a stronger deck, it's to find Urborg or Coffers anyway. So I really like Grim Servant for that reason. And, he has an ETB, so if you play Blinks or if you reanimate him, you get those triggers again and again, and the life loss is pretty meaningless in this deck. One of the most fun things about playing this deck is you can really throw your life total around and not worry about it. In fact, my recommendation to you is not even worry about extorting people early game because like you don't want to get them on your nerves. You don't want to get on their nerves right away. Plus, you don't want to be like spending the mana on an effect that doesn't matter, right? Like if you're not using your life total or you're not like getting yourself high enough so you don't die, there's not that really much point to gaining that life. So I wouldn't spend the time extorting until you're really set up well, meaning like you've got your mana sources going and then you've got a draw engine going. So let's talk about draw engines because that's what you're going to be looking for in your opening. You're going to be looking for a hand with some good mana and some good draw engine or ways to find it. If you don't have those two things in your opener, take a mulligan. You get a free mulligan. I'm not going to harp on this in every single video, even though I probably actually will. But like, take more mulligans. You'll be so much happier. Like, if you're a new Commander player, like I am, I've been playing for 30 years, but I'm like pretty new to Commander. I've been playing only a year and a half. And when I started, I made the same mistake I feel like a lot of players do. It's like I don't take enough mulligans. They're not as punishing in Commander, so you don't have to worry about it, right? You get a free one. And then even if you go to 6 or even 5 or 4 even, which I've done, it's not that bad because like if you go to 4 and you end up with the Ripples of Undeath and 2 land, like you're in business. People are not going to be like bothering you typically because they're going to just be like, oh my God, you have to go to 4. That's awful. Meanwhile, you ended up with a 4 that's like 3 land Ripples of Undeath. That's a winning hand. Like that hand is so much better than like many sevens that people might keep anyway. So just keep that in mind. Like I'm not saying you should mulligan for that hand, but don't keep a bad 6 or a bad 5 just because you feel like you have to. Like literally everyone says in games, like, oh, well, I'm going to keep this 7 because there's no way I'm going to 6. I'm like, okay, you're dumb, but good to know. Um, so yeah, don't be afraid to go 6. Don't be afraid to go 5 or even 4. And like, if you draw your 4, if you go to 4 and then you draw your 4 and it's no land, don't be like, oh man, Matt told me to go to 4 and then like, it didn't work out. Like this was the wrong decision. That's a results oriented mentality, and that's not going to get you anywhere. You should trust that you made the right decision as best you could based on the facts that you had at the time. And then, like, the outcome is, of course, important to making your decision the next time. But I think you should trust the judgment as long as you put some thought into it and, like, consider everything you should have. Trust your decision, even if it doesn't end up working out. If you change your future decision because of outcome, like specific outcomes, that's going to lead to poor decision making in the future. You're going to lose more games because of that. So just have a think about that and take more mulligans. You'll be happy. So what are the draw engines we're running, we're looking for, etc.? So we've got a few on lands, which are great. I'm not going to go into these, but these are awesome, all 3 of these, because they're all just a fallback if you happen to get flooded. Your lands can still do something, which is great. We've got Esper Sentinel, good old Ristic Buddy, as they like to call him. The kids like to call him. Such a good card. Like, I mean, I'm sure I don't need to hype you on the power of this card, but it's less expensive than it's ever been due to the recent reprints. Pick yourself up a copy if you don't have one. He's so good. Archivist, again, with the proliferation and abundance of fetch lands given the reprints in Modern Horizons 3, I just see this card being very strong, just like I was talking about with Deep Gnome Terramancer. This is not a card just for CEDH. It's not always gonna like be wonderful in like a casual game, but you'll usually draw at least a card or two out of this, and that's really all you need to make it worth it. Good card. Highly recommend you try it. Good old Bob. Normally not a card I'd recommend for Commander. It's just very dangerous and greatness at any cost, right? But like seriously, it's so good in this deck because like your life total, I mean, I'm very cavalier with my life total anyway, in like any deck. I'm sure if you've seen my games, especially like when I have a Sylvan Library out, I'm like, yeah, I'll use 8 life a turn. Like I go into Sylvan Library with the mentality of, okay, I'm playing this card and it says on your upkeep lose 8 life and draw 2 cards. That's how I read Sylvan Library. Unless like something crazy is going on and I really don't have a better option. That being said, in this deck, you're gaining a lot of life. It's really easy to recover your life total. Just play this card. It's so good. It's like draw an extra card every turn on a 2/1 body. Good stuff. Keen Duelist. The weird and I mean, I can't think of another word to even say, but the weird cousin of Dark Confidant, Bob's your cousin, I guess. Basically, like Dark Confidants you and target opponent, but you each use the mana value of the other person's. So if I flip on my upkeep and I flip over Dark Confidant and opponent flips over Archon of Cruelty, which is an 8 mana value, then I lose 8 and opponent loses 2. So what this means for you is you don't want to pick that dinosaur player because if they flip over Gishath, boom, you took 8. If they flip over Galta, oh no, you took 12 or 8 if it's the new Galta. So pick the opponent you think is going to have the lowest mana cost spells in their deck. Failing that, if you're not sure, pick the opponent who you think has the most expensive deck. You can judge based on what their basic lands look like and whatever other factors you might be able to surmise from talking to them or whatever. Because typically, the more expensive a deck, the lower the curve. It's not a hard and fast rule, but I think it's a pretty good shortcut. Ripples of Undeath. Talked about this card a bit. Love this card. It's so good. I am just putting it in every buff deck at this point. It's so good. I mean, it's not Black Market Connections, but what is, right? Like Black Market Connections is the nuts. I mean, this card's 1 mana less, and yeah, you have to pay 1, you have to pay 3 life, but you get like an option. It's basically like getting a free impulse every turn where like the other cards go to your graveyard. This card's so good. Just like hope you draw it in your opener and like win the game. Black Market Connections, I don't need to espouse the power of this card. Just full send every turn and win the game. Necrodominance. I'm testing this. I think it's great. It's not as good as Necroponents. Before you ask, like, if you have Necroponents and you're okay with running it in a Power 7 deck, by all means, do it. I'm running this because I feel like it's a little bit lower power, and I also have some synergies with draw, like I'm playing Shieldred, which, this combo is great with Shieldred because it does draw you cards, unlike Necroponents, where you set them aside and then put them into your hand, not technically counting as draw. So the key to playing this card well is whatever you're thinking, however much life you're thinking about paying, double or triple it. Okay. But wait, Matt, aren't you gonna have to discard a bunch because your hand size 5 now? So, like, who cares about discarding? Like, I know a lot of people do, or they care about milling, but like, get over it. Like, you don't want selection of 15 cards down to your best 5. Like, this is gonna win you games. Just get over it. Like, grow a pair and pay 15 life into this. Try it once. They'll never go back. Join the dark side. Phyrexian Arena, this is an old classic. Some people think it's like, I don't know, too slow for the format now. Maybe it is, but it's one of my favorite cards of all time, and I'm still going to run it. Plus, I have a foil original printing from, I think it's Odyssey. Could be wrong. No, Apocalypse. Pretty sure it's Apocalypse. That I got signed by Pete Ventures. So pretty stoked on that. And I love to read it. It's Ventures. Yeah, yeah. So I think it's worth it though, especially in a deck like this that doesn't care about the life loss. I mean, honestly, any deck that no one should care about when life loss a turn. If you care about that, you need to reevaluate your priorities and start playing with a little bit more gusto. Your life total is a resource just like anything else. Use it. You still win the game at one life. The Gaffer, this guy's so good, especially in this deck. Like, how easy is it to gain 3 life a turn? I told you before, like any spell. In fact, like I was when I originally built this deck, I had a bunch of life gain sources, and I still have a lot. I have 24 different cards that can gain life, but like I had way more to start, and then I realized that you don't even really need any life gain sources in the deck. You just need a bunch of cheap cards to extort over and over and over and over, and you're getting 3 life for each instance of extort. So like, is the Gaffer good? Yeah, he's just a 3 mana 2/3 that draws you a card every turn. Good stuff. And then we've got 2 other like more expensive draw spells, but like they're both fantastic. If you haven't played with a Mangara in play, you're missing out, and doubly so for Trouble in Pairs. This card is bananas. Like you won't believe how many cards you'll draw off this. Just, just, oh, it's so good. I'm not playing the One Ring because I'm trying to cut the One Ring for more decks because it's just too good. Like, if you have the One Ring, you want to play it, you want to win, put it in your deck. Like, I don't need to tell you that. Like, card's nuts. Try to lose a game with the One Ring in play. Like, I dare you. So I'm trying to restrain myself and not play it in so many decks now because I find it to be trivially easy and it's like not even a game. No one interacts with it, no one plays interaction for it, and you just win. Like, oh, go figure, drawing 10 cards over 4 turns is going to win you the game. Well, how much life did you lose? 10? Yeah, it's stupid. I hope, to be honest with you guys, like, I hope they ban the One Ring in Commander. And I don't say this lightly because I have like 10 copies of it in multiple versions, but I don't like what it does in the format. I don't like that it's so powerful that it just belongs in every deck. I'm not saying that it's an appropriate power level for all decks, but like I don't like it. Sorry, let me rephrase. I absolutely love it. I love it too much. I just don't like how good it is, and it pains me to not put it in decks, even though it belongs in the deck. That being said, let's just move forward before I get on an even bigger tangent. So what are the best cards in the deck? What are we looking for? Well, I talked about some of them already. We're talking like Ripples of Undeath, Black Market Connections, Necro Dominance, Phyrexian Arena. If you have like any of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards in your opener, even like Confidant plus Keen Duelist, we can include in there. These 9 cards, that's a good hand. Anything with 2 land and like one of these cards, that's a keep. Anything with land tax, one land tutor, which I would use to find land tax, or ripples of death. Whether Wayfarer, any opener with at least 1 land, and whether Wayfarer is a keep, any opener with at least 1 plains and a tithe is probably a keep, depends on what else you have. Um, those are the best cards in the deck, I'd say. Like Weathered Wayfarer, land tax / enlightened tutor, and then these 9 cards. So be on the lookout for those. Oh, I guess also like the Soul Sisters. Soul Warden and Soul's Attendant, aka collectively called the Soul Sisters. And you can also throw in Auroch Champion. These are the only 3, as far as I know, that gain you a life when any creature enters the battlefield, not just your creatures or your opponent's creatures. These are the most powerful ones because they gain life on all creatures entering. So these are the 3 that you want to look for, the best life gain sources in the deck, I would say. And then, like, depending on who you're against, you could look for specific cards like Meat Hook Massacre, Toxic Deluge, Comball, depending on, like, if you're against, like, heavy token decks or decks that are going to be making very strong tokens. You could be on the lookout for certain cards like these. Um, I guess I'll just talk a little bit about the price tag of the deck and some like budget options, as well as some like upgrading options if you want to go that route. So let me switch over to back to regular type and I'll sort by price. I already have this deck copied from my regular list and um, updated to cheapest. In fact, I'm just going to do this again to fix the arena that I switched before. So now we're sorted by price. So I'm just going to look at the most expensive cards in each section. We'll start with the land. So $313 for the land base I'm running. You do not need this land base, period. This is a two-color deck. You can, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, you can replace all 30 of these lands. I'd probably up the land count if you do this, but you can replace all 30 of these lands with all basic lands and you will be fine. Now, should you do that? No, you should run like whatever non-basic land sources that come in untapped are that you have. Don't play a white-black dual land that gains you a life when it enters and that comes in tapped. Those lands suck. Do not run them. Do not run them in a budget deck. Do not run them for any reason. Period. I'm sure you can come up with some random reason too, but like in general, I don't play a land that enters tap. Don't play the scry lands. I would play a basic land over those lands any day of the week and be happy about it. If you really want to time lock yourself to gain a life or to scry one, it's not worth it. Just don't play those cards. Seriously. Like you know how many lands I'm playing that come into play tapped or that like must come into play tapped? Zero? Mm, sorry, one. Okay. I love the surveillance. These are not the Skrylands, okay? But you know, Skrylands are like the surveillance that you have at home, so to speak, to give you a little bit of meme talk. These lands are nuts. The reason I love these surveillance so much is that they're fetchable. Number one, by far, the most important thing. So notice that Plains Swamp in the type line up there. That means, hey, those lands like Marsh Flats that say search your library for Plains or Swamp card to put on the battlefield. They can find this guy. So, like, if I were to, since we're talking about like upgrade and budget options, like, if I were building this deck to my fullest potential, I would be playing all seven playable fetch lands in here. So, not just the on color one, the white black one, but all the other white ones and all the other black ones. There's three of each, right? There's Flooded Strand, Windswept Heath, and Arid Mesa for the white ones. And then there is Fluke Delta, Bloodstained Mire, and Verdant Catacombs for the black ones. So you know in a two-color deck you can play seven fetch lands, plus like Prismatic Vista and Fabled Passage, but like those aren't as good because they can only find basics. The thing about these is they can get any plains or swamp card. That means they can get the Surveil lands, they can get Triomes, not in this deck, but you know, in other decks. They can get the Shock lands, they can get the OG dual lands like Scrubland if you're playing those, and they can get like all the other lands that say plains or swamp in the type line. So these fetch lands are the most powerful cards in the game. They're the best lands ever printed. They're better than the original dual lands. Why? They can get any color. They can get that untapped, right? Think about all of those, like, let's say you're playing a five-color deck. Marsh Flats, it can only get you a Plains or Swamp, right? Except that how many lands are there that are Plains Island, Plains Mountain, Plains Swamp, Plains Forest? You can get all those lands. You can get any color you need for the fetch land. They are less expensive than they've ever been right now. There is no better card to invest in if you want to build up your Magic collection than the fetch lands. Have at least a playset, one of each. I There's not a single card I would recommend getting over these. They're the best and now like one of the most efficient ways to upgrade your Magic collection like permanently. They will never be less expensive than this. So especially the allied colored ones. The enemy colored ones from Modern Rift that were printed in Modern Horizons 2, I think are pretty pricey right now. So maybe wait on those. But the allied, so like Marsh Flats, for example, although this is definitely the cheapest one, of the enemy color fetches. But the allied color ones are all like between $10 and $15 right now. Please do yourself a favor and pick those up. Nothing will make your decks more consistent and more powerful than upgrading your mana. So anyway, long story short, that being said, after I like go on this tirade about like how good these fetch lands are, I will go back and say like you can replace, since this is a two-color deck, you can replace all these lands with basics and you're going to do just fine. So feel free to do that. Like don't I would not even hesitate to do that myself and like, play a game or two like that, like, just to show you guys. So if anyone wants to put me up to that challenge and like hold me to my words, like let me know. I'll do it. Just like put me on the spot. I will do it. And it'll be fine. Probably. Of course, I'm going to draw like only swamps that game and then everyone's going to laugh. But that's okay. Oh yeah, so budget cuts. So all these cards that are over $10, like I'm gonna tell you if any of these are mandatory. None of the they're this is like one of the easiest decks to build. Like, honestly, like if you just put every 1 and 2 mana spell you had in your collection, like the best ones, of course, but like just random, the best 1 and 2 mana spells and creatures, this deck's still good. You're just like playing random spells and extorting, and then like popping people with Sorin's -1. That's like how you win with this deck. So seriously, like you don't need to buy these cards. Now, I mean, I know I was just talking about like stuff to buy in terms of the fetch lands, Black Market Connections. If you don't have one of these, it was just reprinted in Assassin's Creed. The art's pretty cool. I kind of like the original better. I actually think this is the worst art, but it's still good. And you can get it. This is like the extended version. I think it's like you can get it really cheap right now. I think it's cheaper than this. I'm pretty sure you can get it for like six or $7 on TCG Player right now. So do yourself a big favor and pick up this card if you don't have it. It's just incredibly good. That being said, you don't need it. You can cut this. You can cut all this stuff. You can put in like crappy draw engine stuff. Actually, like something like Greed. Um, I think I might even, yeah, this card. Wait, 13 cents. This card's so good in this deck. Like, I might put it in anyway. Like, the 2 life is so irrelevant when you're drawing this many cards. Seriously. So, like, play this card. This card's sweet. And then, like, Erebos God of the Dead. I think that's actually kind of pricey. But that's really good here, too. It's just like Greed, but it costs an extra mana and your opponents can't gain life or something like that. But yeah, like all these are replaceable. So like Meat Hook, you can swap in any board wipe. Put in Vanquish the Horde or Wrath of God or Damn. You know, there's tons of good options that are inexpensive. Now, is Meat Hook Massacre better than them? Hell yeah, it is. This card's crazy. So good. But you don't need it. You can win with it. But it is really good. Trouble in Paris, same thing. This is like one of the best options that you can get for drawing a ton of cards, except the One Ring. But you don't need it. There's other things that work just as well. Feel free to swap Greed in for this. Put in like, Night's Whisper and whatever draw spells you have. Read the Bones is fine. Like, just play those spells. Those are good. Smothering Tide, you don't need it. If you don't like it, if you don't have it, whatever the reason, you don't need it. You could play like instead of this, just put in like a mana rock, put in like a Fellwar Stone or Gilded Lotus is a good one if you've got one of those. If you've got a Scepter of Eternal Glory and you're running like a decent number of basics, that's good, really good. You probably don't want a colorless mana rock because extort does take color better to do, but a few colorless sources would be fine. If you wanted to put in for Deimos for this, I think that would work. Just make sure you're like being careful about what mana you tap and use your colorless where you can. So you save your colored mana for extort triggers. Land tax, oh well, this is like one of my top 3 favorite cards of all time, and it's nuts. Like this card shouldn't be legal in the format. It's just so good. People don't realize how good it is. Like I can't count how many times I've grumbled over someone having a turn 1 land tax, and then saying like, oh, it's just a land tax. Like, who cares? Oh, who cares? You're playing a one-man enchantment that's drawing you three extra cards a turn. Like, seems good. This card's stupid. If you don't have one, I would strongly consider picking one up. It's it's one of the most powerful cards in the game. They would never, ever, ever, ever print a card like this ever again. It's from the original set, Alpha Beta, I'm pretty sure. No, Legends. I think it's Legends. But yeah, they would never make a card like this ever again. Oops. Oh, I moved it down. Yeah, Legends. Um, yeah, this card. Let's see. Shadow Spirit, definitely don't need it. Feel free to cut that. T Pro is great. Who doesn't know how good this card is? But like, you don't need it. You can play like Blacksmith's Skill instead. That's a great card. Try that one. It can protect any. A lot of times you're T Proing just to save one thing. Like sometimes you need it to block a lethal attack. So you could put in something like Batwing Broom instead. Tithe, you don't need it. You can replace this with a couple lands. E-Tutor, you don't need it, especially if you're not playing land tax. Like, mainly I'm looking for land tax with this. You can keep a one lander within the land tutor just because you can land it, play land tax. And then hope to God someone doesn't destroy it because that'll wreck your day. Shielded, definitely don't need it. I might cut this anyway because it's just like a card people I roll at. But I like it. Archangel Thune is really good in its deck. It's a win con in and of itself, but you don't need it. You can replace this with any other sort of Alpha Strike card, something like, oh, there's the new one from MH3 called Salvation Colossus. You could sub that in, and that's like a under $1 card. Or Moonshaker Cavalry is really good if you have one of those. It's kind of like a Crater Hoof for white, but it gives things flying instead of trample. Um, any card that's just like a big pump spell that, if you have a Necroma's Will, you can swap out this and T-Pro to kind of replace both of those. Um, Esper, you don't need. There's you don't need any of these cards. Seriously, like all of the cards. If you were to like just go in and cut every single card that's over $5 and replace them with whatever you want, this deck's still gonna work in the way I'm describing. So like, try it out. I think you'll like it. This is so fun. Um, pe- people never expect how much damage you're just able to do like suddenly, and that's what makes him a blast. Like, and you don't always need to go face with it. Like a lot of times, I'll just play him, flip him, and pop a creature for 5 with his -1, and then like he might not even die after that because like you just knocked out someone's biggest creature. The other players might just be happy that you dealt with their some consecrated sphinx that was going to lose you guys the game, right? And then the player who you killed, you just knocked out a huge flyer out of the air for them. So did they really have that much more to come at you with? So like this is a value deck that just plays, very persistent and like powerful draw engines that just kind of wins the late game through like drain and attrition. So if you're into that kind of deck, you're really gonna have fun playing this. So check it out. I'm gonna do some mulligan practice and playtesting now. So keep watching, and after that, I'm gonna post a sample game as well. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of the support I've been getting. I'm still new at this, so I love to hear feedback, what you want to see more of, what you want to see less of, what you want to be different. You know, please don't hesitate to let me know because I read all the comments I receive and I really take them to heart and think about them and try to incorporate the feedback I get into my future content. So do let me know. So with that being said, I'm gonna switch back to my other version and then we're gonna do some play testing. All right, let's get to it. All right, so as you watch this, I would encourage you to please pause the video, make the decision. Would you keep this hand? Would you not keep this hand? We're going to assume we don't know what opponents we're going up against, but I will talk about some considerations with regard to that if I feel like it's relevant. So Hopefully by now you've decided. I think this hand is not a keep. Um, Unfortunately, we don't have any black sources. We have a nice curve. We've got like Sorin to Charismatic Conqueror, which, theoretically could gain us a lot of life in tandem. But what I found with the Conqueror is that you don't often make very many tokens off him. So it's more of just like a blind obedience sort of effect in that like people just put their stuff in tapped instead of giving you a guy. But that's not always true. And then we do have Blood Harvest. Like if one of these lands was a swamp, I would keep this hand for sure because we've got a draw engine, we've got like something to do a lot of damage. This is like a great combination of cards, but I just don't like to rely on drawing something to make a hand good. And this hand doesn't do enough if we don't ever draw a swamp. So I could not in good conscience keep this hand. And I would never recommend you keep a hand like this because what I like to say is plan for the absolute worst to happen. What's the absolute worst? You never draw black source the whole game. Would this hand do anything then? No, right? Do nothing. Even if we draw another planes, can cast T-Crow, like that does nothing. These two cards alone do nothing. This is not. We can definitely find a better hand than this. All right. Pause the video. Tell me, do you keep this one? This is our second 7, so let's keep that in mind when we decide, are we keeping this hand? Whew, rough one. No mana rocks, 2 land. This doesn't even really count. This is sort of counts. We could play this as black land if we need to. We have nothing to do, right? We have an Alenda on turn 4 is our first play aside from our commander. I'm going to 6 all day over keeping this hand. All right, here's our 6. Pause it. Let me know. Do you keep this one? Hell yeah. Are you kidding? I hope this was as easy of a snap keep as it was for me. I mean, come on. Anyone who said they're not keeping this on 6, you need to reevaluate how to play this game altogether. Um, this hand's such a keep, right? The sucky thing is we don't have turn 2 Smothering Tide because, like, this land comes in tapped, so we either have to play this first turn and then we can't play Soul Ring, or we play the Saga first, hope to draw planes, and which is what we're going to do, I think. But yeah, let's play it out. So we got to bottom something, right? So I think we bottom. It's pretty easy. I think we bottom the Bloodletter. The only other possible choice would be Grim Servant, but I'm not bottoming that. This is triple black. We only have one black source. This is an easy bottom. All right, let's see what we draw. Hopefully it's a planes. Not a planes. That's okay. So what do we do here? I think like we've got a lot of planes in the deck. We have a lot more lands that make white than black. So hoping to draw the turn 2 Smothering Tide is not unreasonable. We could start. We do want to start with the Saga anyway. Like getting the Saga out ASAP is good, especially since we already have Soul Ring in hand. I don't know if we have that many other 1-drop artifacts in the deck. I know that there's Shadow Spear. I cannot remember if there are any others. So I might check the deck list and see if I had at least one other option. One thing to note, most of you probably already know this, but in case you didn't, Soul Ring or Urza Saga cannot find something like Esper Sentinel. Yes, it's a 1 mana value artifact, but the interesting thing about Saga is it does specify you have to find a artifact with mana cost 0 or 1. This means literally it has to be those mana costs. There's a difference between mana cost and mana value, and that's really the operative phrase here. So this means you can't get Esper Sentinel because its mana cost is not 0 or 1. It is 1 white pip, right? You cannot get something like Ancient Den or what's the black one called? Vault of Whispers, because those are no cost, right? They're land. They don't have a cost of 0 or 1. So important to keep that in mind. All that being said, I think the play is to just play the Saga. Yeah, which see, hope we draw the white. Although, like, running out of tithe on turn 2 is not going to make you a lot of friends. So You think you need to be making friends in the game per se. Like you're playing to win the game. It's a game, right? But like maybe you don't want so many eyes on you by running out of spells and tithes in turn two. That being said, if you draw the planes, you better believe I'm slamming tithes in turn two. So let's drop the Sorin. We have no follow up, so let's just pass the turn. We'll add a killer for the next turn. Oh, we didn't get it. We got an untapped land, but it wasn't right source, so that's fine. We'll just play. Well, what are our options here? We don't really have any options. We can't. We have no colored mana, so we can actually activate the saga and make a construct, which is not terrible. So we'll play the Shadowy Doctrine, which enters tapped. And by the way, I was ranting about to play tap lands and not playing them. This is why. Like, if this was any other land, a Caves of Koilos or whatever, we could have played a Smothering Tide right now. But instead, we're having to slow a show sound that by that much, which can be the difference, all the difference, right? That being said, I'm never cutting this land. I love these surveillance. So I play them in every deck for the rest of the time. Widow Reaper's on top, which is a great card. It's actually really good with our Saga about to go off too, because we're going to be down a land. But, but we really want to see some colored lands. Oh, tough one. I think I would put this into the graveyard. Sad as it is to say. Make a construct. Oh, we'll go to the next turn. Next turn, we'll draw. We drew another colorless land. There's really not that many colorless lands in the deck, so it's just kind of unlucky. But that's okay. Saga goes to 3. We get sack it. So we have the option to either tap it for a colorless or create another construct before it gets sacrificed. So we want to think about what we want to do this turn. I think we want to play the tide, right? So I think we'll end up tapping for and floating the colorless. So we'll do that. We'll add a colorless to our mana pool. We'll sack this. We will see what we have. And just trying to see if there's anything. If you're playing like Lotus Petal, you could get something like that. I think the Shadow Spirit might be the only option. So we're just going to skim through the best to see if like anything catches my eye. Doesn't look like it, so we'll just grab the Shadow Spirit. That's fine. Electric Cloud. Frozen Shuffle. We've got our colorless in the pool. We've already drawn. We've got the mana ready to play the tithe, so we will just do so. Drop the tithe. Deal with the collective groans from the table. Play the tower. We could actually stack the construct to the tower maybe next turn if we leave that on it. I wouldn't be opposed to doing that, but right now it's at 3, including just with these 3 red flags, so it's kind of nice. So just swing it someone for 3, but we could swing it someone for 3 and then sack it and play our commander. Probably worth it, honestly. Yeah, he's not going to flip, which is good. We don't want it to. We get a treasure or 2 from Northern Tide, and then we proceed. So at this point, like our hand's looking like it's going to run out of gas. I would definitely be spending the Scream Servant on finding some sort of draw engine. So either right now our black pips are only 1 and 2. So I think I would just go straight for Ripples of Undeath here. It's the best one that we can get for 2 mana, in my opinion. So I think I would just go for that, and then we just play from there. So I'm going to go to the next one. All right, pause the video. Tell me, do you keep this hand? Oh, baby, this hand is so good, right? We've got 3 lands, 3 excellent lands. We've got turn 1 Wayfarer. We even got the bounce land. So even if we're going first, the Wayfarer is still online. It won't be online till turn 3, because we'd have to go like Command Tower, Wayfarer, turn 2 bounce, bring this back, and then like the following turn we could activate it, but that's great. When we have Necro Dominance into protection and tutor, this hand is just pure gas. Like, I'm not even gonna play this out. This one's just nuts. Like, you win the game with this one. All right. This is our first seven. So tell me, do you keep this one? Um, I don't know. It's pretty okay. Like we've got if we're going first, we mulligan this every day because like then the Warhound's not going to work very well, and that's just like not good enough. Then if we're going second, maybe I keep this. I'm inclined to keep this because then the Warhound is pretty good and we're on a faster pace. The only problem with this hand is we have no draw engine. So, but we do have the cave, which ideally we want to use since we've got the herb board. We would want to use the cave to find cabal coffers. But if we were to like just get flooded and draw a bunch of lands, we can always use the cave to get something like Monumental Hinge, War Room, or Castle Lothlane, which is at least a subpar draw engine to get us into something better. So I think this hand I would keep on the opening seven if I was going second, maybe only then. Maybe third, second or third. Depends what opponents are playing. If opponents look fast or they're playing powerful commanders, I might just toss this and try to find something better. Although, like, if we draw one piece of card advantage or draw engine, this hand's pretty really good because we've got some fast mana, we've got like more ramp, we've got Shadow Spear, which is just a generically good card, and we've got like a way to find coffers or and Alenda is just excellent, like Army and can in and of herself. So I think on average I'm gonna mulligan this though. I could be wrong. I'm not really on the fence about this one, so let me know what you think. Let me know if your decision differed from mine and what your thought process is behind it. But I think I would search for something better unless I was literally in second position. So let's go to second seven. All right, pause it. Tell me, do you keep this one? Yeah, this is an easy keep, I would say. We don't have any black mana right now, which is a little weird, but we have the cave, which can find us Urborg, which turns on coffers, which really like sets this hand up. Also, the charitable levy can get us a black source because it will find us a plains when it cracks, which could be the Shadowy Backstreet, the Surveil Land, or Godless Shrine, both of which can make black. And then we've got an excellent draw engine in Mangara. We can get him up really fast with Ancient Tomb, so like turn three Mangara is really strong. And then we've got Karlov as like a very powerful removal engine and just like heavy hitter in and of itself. So on a second seven, this is an easy keep. I'd keep this on the first seven too. This hand looks great. So let's draw. Ooh, we've got a Lotho, which is really good. Too bad we can't play it yet, but that's okay. So the question is, what land do we play first here? I think the plan is to drop the Charitable Levy. It's actually pretty nice here that we have three creatures to follow up with. So like, I think we can pretty much rely on this being really good this hand because like we drop this on turn two, opponents are like, what the hell is that? And they read it and they're like, oh, that's annoying. And then, maybe they don't crack it the first turn cycle, but like we have plays for days, right? That are non-creatures. So I think this looks really good to me here. So if we start off with planes, say, well, I'm just gonna hold up swords faster. All right, we drew Flower Stone. Wish we had that last turn. No, it's so good. So we could have ancient tuned it off, but so it goes. So I think this turn's pretty easy. We just go ancient tomb, ouch, Flower Stone. I'm assuming someone has black, but I don't think we're going to play Lotho here anyway. I think we just drop the charitable levy. I'd rather play Lotho next turn or even later when I can trigger him myself because he does trigger on your turn as well. So you want Lotho to be your first spell, and then you want to play a spell right after him. So this is a great turn too. And their opponents are like, what the heck is this? And then they have to deal with that. And like all of a sudden their turn two Farseek or Felwar Stone is looking real bad. What do we get? There. We've got 4 mana, access 4 mana right away, so we could just slam Vanguard here, which I think is the play. We could also, if the opponent has black, we could play Lopo into Shadowspear. We might have to pay the tax on it. Nah, I think like this pretty easily is just draw Megara and start reaping that delicious, delicious card draw. And lifelink. This card's so good. Yeah, and I'm not going to continue this, but really, we're just gonna at this point we're gonna place. I know I haven't actually played the commander yet, but like this is how it goes. You don't worry about playing him early. Like I don't hesitate to play him on turn 2 if I don't have anything else to do, but like I wouldn't focus on playing him early. Just like get out some draw engines and mana, just like I've been doing. Like put this stuff out first, and then later play him and start extorting. That's how you play this deck. Get a draw engine in place first, get your mana in place first, and then keep going. All right, we're going to do one more. Okay, pause it. Tell me, do you keep this one or do you toss it back for something better? Toss it back for something better. What's better than this? Look at this hand. What is this hand? So good. Oh my god, we true mana. I love it. You can even play the Godless Shrine tapped. Efficiency. Right, I would like to have seen a land there, but it's okay because we've got turn 2 Rifters of Undeath. You love to see it. Could have played Signet, but get this online. We need to find a land, right? So what happens is we go to our next turn, we draw for turn, did draw land, bummer, but we do mill 3. 1, 2, 3. Wow, we did not find land. That sucks. Okay, well, wow, that really sucks. Okay, so the problem is, I think pretty simply we pay 1 and take the Esper, lose 3 life, right? He's go to the graveyard, and then we just play the Esper and say, and people like are bitching, but we say, oh, okay, but we're gonna start land drop. So hopefully they aren't as annoyed by the heuristic buddy. Next turn, we draw land, we go 3. By the way, like, even if you don't see anything you need or want, always be paying this. Like, just always be taking the card. Unless you really, really need that one colorless that turn, you should. You need a really, really strong reason not to be paying this 1 mana and 3 life. Just, that's just just say the rule is you're paying 1 life and 3 life and 1 mana, and any other situation should be very exceptional. Okay, so what does that mean for this turn? Because like honestly, like this is a turn where I kind of don't want to pay because what I'd love to do is actually we can't even do it the way I wanted that. What I was going to say is like drop Signet into Lotho, but that doesn't trigger Lotho, which is not the end of the world. We could also Signet into Loyal Warhound. It depends like what opponents have. They probably have more land because we missed a land drop. So I think Signet into Loyal Warhound looks good here, but that would require that we not pay the 1 to get one of these cards back. It really depends on how fast the game is looking, because the life is irrelevant for us. Like, look at this hand. We've got 2 Soul Sisters, and we've got like a handful of gas. So does that mean we should not waste some tempo to get one of these cards right now? It may or may not. It's really going to depend on the board state, and that's the trouble with these goldfish sessions or mulligan practice. You just don't know what's going on in the game, and it's hard to replicate a real game situation. But let's say we're under some like decent pressure here. Someone's off to a strong start. Maybe we don't have time to grab one of these, so let's call this one of the exceptions. We'll decline to do that, and we'll say, all right, we're gonna drop a Signet, boom, and then we're gonna pay 2 for the Warhound, assuming someone has more land than us, which they should. We'll have a top planes. This one can only get basic planes, so it specifies that, and we'll pass. But we're in a pretty good spot now, right? So we're going into turn 5, and we recovered the land that we missed. Plus, we've got the Signet. Plus, we have the ripples, and we've got just a strong hand here. So We drew, we mill 3, 1, 2, 3. There's all of our land. Okay, so the nice thing is we hit Ancient Tomb. We even hit Basilica, which could be good since we're having trouble finding some land here, but I wouldn't expect to need this effect to like bounce a land because with the ripples, we're gonna find land going forward. It's highly unlikely that we will see land return at this point, I would say. So I think we skip that and we just take the Ancient Tomb. Right, move these 3, we grab that. So what do we want to do here? I think the play is this is one of the rare exceptions where I play a creature before one of the Soul Sisters because I would rather get a treasure than anything else in this scenario. So I think we just drop the Lovo first, and then we like play the Ancient Tomb. I mean, like my inclination is to play the Moonrock, but it might just make more sense to. Yeah, I think we do because we don't we can't really use this colored mana that effectively, right? We don't have any. I mean, we play Crypt Gas, but I don't think that's where we want to be. I think we go Felverstone. That triggers Lotho. We make a treasure, and then so we've got 3 mana. Then I think at that point we just go Soul Warden into Sorin, gain 1 from Sorin, pass the turn, hope a board wipe doesn't happen. We're a little overextended here, but if it does, I think we're in decent shape. We still have a draw engine. Maybe we draw another card off Esper before it gets wiped. I think like this is a little heavy into board wipe, but I think we're fine. We have another Soul Sister in hand. We have a card advantage engine in play. I think we're set up well here to do well in this game, even if we get hit with a board wipe. So hopefully that was helpful. I'm gonna post a game right after this, but I just want to say thank you again for watching. Please leave comments and let me know if you like the video and what else you'd like to see. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe my videos. I'm trying to build a following here so I can make more content and get away from my regular day job and do something that I'm really passionate about. So hope you like it, and thanks for watching. Bye.
The bad energy from the last game into this one.
Oh, was there bad energy in the last game?
I hit someone for 5 on like turn 3, and then he was like, "The only thing I'm doing is killing you," and I was like, "Okay, so like nothing I did fucking either like stayed on the field or resolved." And the other 2 were just like, "Okay, I'm gonna draw 20. Okay, I'm gonna draw another 5. I'm gonna draw like play 15 lands," and he was like, "Nope, Sangredy's gotta die." I'm like, "Okay, thanks for swordsing my 7/7 and all my other shit." Okay.
Love the Fear of Dead Men playmat.
Oh, thank you.
That's spectacular. It's one of my favorite quotes in comics.
Oh yeah.
Looks like I got here just in time.
I just pulled Alexios and slung him in a deck. It looks so fun.
This is one of 3 copies of Alexios I pulled in my collector's box. Total value of my $300 collector's box, $97.
Sick.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
Doing all right.
Good. How are you?
Can you like turn a light on?
Yeah, I can't read anything on your stuff.
Yeah, hold on.
I just played in a game where somebody had proxied their entire deck with big titty anime waifus.
Oh, leave. It's not worth it.
So I couldn't read anything.
It's like, bro, I appreciate you that you're a pervert that likes, horny cartoons, but I need to
that's an LGS deck. Like, don't play that shit on Spelltable.
Your cards, like, unless you're willing to like verbatim tell me it every time I need to ask about it. Then
I want to be able to point to every card on your board and be like, okay, what's this one do? Read me the box.
How do I interact with this? Yeah, I feel you, bro. I appreciate that you're a pervert. That's cool. I too.
I just feel like there's certain like behavior that you shouldn't do in public, and just because you're online doesn't mean that you're not obligated to behave.
We're in public right now.
Yeah,
we're in public right this second.
Even worse at the
I'd never
LGS.
shame somebody for it, but it's a little odd. Like it's.
I won't
Yeah.
shame them. I would not shame them.
I
for
just
the,
don't
to
wanna
the
be
anime
involved.
waifus if I could click their shit and read what their cards
Yes,
did.
exactly.
Especially with Wizards' current release schedule of fuck and you.
Yeah, no doubt, for sure.
Yeah, like 2 sets a month come out.
Anybody want me to cut?
Nah, I don't give a
I'm
shit.
good.
It's the middle, bro. Just do it in the middle.
All right. I'm gonna write.
Do you guys mind if I record the session?
Not at all.
No, all good.
Okay, now when we're talking 7, 8, like turn 6, turn 7 wins are cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to just like have a game, dude.
I call
I
this
hear
deck 12 brain cells. That's how many I used when I put it
Okay,
together.
well then I'm gonna do big stuff and fling it deck. Then I won't do no mono blue big brain hour. Okay.
I've played this deck twice so far. I've gotten mana screwed once, and I got hated off the board the other time. So
Okay.
I think I'm probably around a 7 or 8, probably high end of 8, but
Okay, no mono blue big brain hour. We're gonna do Boros throw stuff.
All right. I'm gonna randomize 3 times. Here goes.
Brion,
Once,
Yep, Brion Stoutarm.
twice,
3
thrice.
times a lady.
3 times a lady. LOL.
So, what are you recording? Like, are you sensitive to foul language? Because I can turn down my sailor speak.
Oh, that's fine. I don't mind cussing.
I'm actually also recording for a deck tech, so you guys are going to be on YouTube.
Oh, is there a chat somewhere in here?
No, it's not live. I'm just recording.
I was gonna say, link me your YouTube channel and I'll go subscribe.
It's just like my
same.
Discord. It's just like my Discord name, so you can just Google it or YouTube
Surf City
search it.
TCG.
That's the one.
On YouTube, I'm Sangretti, and on Twitch, I'm not Sangretti.
Okay, just subscribe to Surf City.
Thank you.
Cool.
All right, take my second 7.
And just subscribe to Sangretti too.
Thank you.
I'm 0 point absolutely everywhere, including on Discord.
Dude, I wish I could keep that hand. It's a sweet hand.
Same here.
I haven't
I'll
even
go to
looked at my
6.
hand yet. I should probably do that.
I'm going to 6.
I forgot I had 2 of these cards in here. So
Really?
before you guys decide whether or not
Relentless rats.
no, it's not. No, it's like you guys get to decide if I'm in this play group because that was my 2 cards in my opening hand. That's fast ass mana.
Oh,
I mean, if you feel really guilty about it, you just shuffle and take a free mill. Like if you feel that.
or yeah, or just bottom one of
I'm
them.
on turn 1.
I don't know.
I'm on turn 1 Alexios right here. This is the best hand I've ever drawn on this. I'm going to shuffle it up. I would like for this to be fair. That is.
Oh, it's like Slicer.
Yes, he's Slicer, but he's 1 turn sooner and he doesn't have double strike. But that's okay because Fire
Well,
Shrieker
Slicer's
exists and
not
so do
free.
Lizard Blades.
I see.
That I really would have felt. I would have felt very bad about that. So
Yeah, I'm
this
not-
whole deck, I run 26 equipment. Not 26 equipment, but 26 equipments and auras total.
All right, this is keepable. I will bottom.
Okay, I can keep this 6. This is cool.
I can
Yeah.
keep this hand. I don't feel nearly as bad.
I had to go down
Good
to
with
6.
6 as well. I'm at 6 also. Is anyone not ready?
I'm ready.
I'm
Cool.
good to go.
Let's
All
send
right,
it.
good luck, have fun. Draw. Playing this pass.
Hell yeah, Mountain Pass.
Draw.
I'm pretty sure you're gonna play a mountain.
I'm gonna play Mountain and then I'll say pass.
Hold it.
I got just really unusual plays coming out of the mono rip.
It's like I've got ESPN or something.
Yeah, the Ocho.
Ins pass. The Ocho.
Draw for turn.
I built a Sorin of House Markov deck, and it's so nasty. I love it.
It's so fun. It's way
Doesn't
more
he
fun
have,
than
like-
I expected.
He's extort on the backside, isn't he?
Yes, he's stored on both sides. I'll cast a charitable levy.
Ooh, what's that?
So, non-creature spells cost one more to cast. Every time a non-creature spell is cast, it gets a counter, and once it's at 3, I sack it, draw a card, tutor planes into play, tapped.
Oh no! All right.
You.
Yes.
I'm gonna play a swamp, and I can't play my 2-drop, so I will pass.
Yeah, I also can't play my 2 drops. Thanks for that.
Stinky.
I'm sorry.
Play this other mountain, and then pass.
It does go away, though.
Eventually.
Yeah. It's the first time I've cast this spell. I'm trying to test it. It seems really good to me. It's like 2 mana white rampant growth, kind of.
Mountain pass.
Tap, upkeep, draw. Play tap Godless Shrine and tap 2 black on horizon to lose 1. I'll play my commander.
Sounds
Pass.
good.
No green, no blue this pod.
Hell yeah. I'm going to
Interesting.
play 3 mana for an Arcane Signet and Cyclone Ash Barrens to get a base, and I will pass turn.
So let's look
The
at one
planes will go
counter.
in my hand.
All right. I'm going to tap upkeep and draw. I will play my 3rd mountain, and then I will tap 3 for this 2 mana Dream Thief's bandana.
So 2.
And then that'll be all for me. So that's 2 counters on the charitable levy, right?
Yes.
Okay. You gotta, hey, Sangreta, you gotta pass. Oh, never mind. I can do it for you. There you go.
All right. Planes tap 1, 2, and 3. I'm gonna call the Gatewatch and go get a Planeswalker.
There's the 3rd trigger.
Yay!
You can't
You're
play
gonna
that.
draw a
though.
card and then search
Hold
the
on.
library for a planes.
That's 3 mana, right?
Yeah.
It costs 1 extra from this. That's what they're complaining about.
So you can't cast that yet.
Oh, I can't?
You cannot cast that yet. You have to pay 4 mana for that.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. I'm obviously not paying attention.
That's
Then-
all right. You can rewind it.
Okay. Let me just cut this up real good.
Yeah.
You leave it as is. It's fine.
Okay.
So
okay.
it,
You looked at the
it's-
You looked at the bottom few cards of your library. If you cut,
Well,
if you cut
I
now-
start. Yeah, I started at the bottom. I
Yeah,
did
never mind.
kind of.
Oh
mix
yeah,
them
then
up.
just leave it as is. It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, we know you're on the level.
Okay.
So Brian, non-creature spells cost 1 more, but as soon as one single 1 more is cast, then this gets sacrificed. So
Okay, I see. Gotcha.
so you can play a 3 mana creature or 2 mana non-creature right now.
Yeah. I'm actually just gonna cycle a card and draw. With 0.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Then I'll pass.
And tap upkeep, draw. Go Phyrexian Towers, land for turn. I'll tap 2 for a Charismatic Conqueror.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not going to extort on that. I will send 1 over at you, Alex.
No blocks.
I'll gain 1 from lifelink and pass. So Charismatic Conqueror is creatures and artifacts will enter tapped unless you want to give me a 1/1 white lifelinker.
Gotcha.
So
So on my turn, this artifact can enter tap for all I care. I'm going to cast Wedding Ring, and I'm going to get married to Surf City.
Are you sure you and I don't want to get married? Because I feel like we would be really good together.
Hey!
He's in the game a lot.
Homewrecker, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. I don't mind wrecking a few homes.
So do you know what this does?
I love you.
Gotcha.
Yes, I do.
Yay! Pass turn. And it's non-creature.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So get another counter on it.
Yep, so that thing is gone. Let it go.
Ooh. Don't forget to sack your creature.
Yeah, I'm doing that. It's an enchantment.
All right. I will, surprising no one, play a land for turn.
It's a tap token.
Does anybody have anything that matters with between snow or regular mountains?
No,
If not, I'm just going to stack these up.
don't think so.
Okay, then I will tap 4, and I will play my tapped Alexios.
So
And then I will pass the turn.
How does that work again?
On your
Tax each
turn,
time
Alexios will
okay.
untap on your upkeep. It'll get a +1/+1 counter. You have control of it.
So it can only be removed by
Mortal
removal spells, not sapped. Okay.
Can't be sacrificed. Yeah, you can destroy it. You can remove it by reducing its toughness to 0 through like -1/-1 stuff. But yeah,
I'll play a mountain for land for turn. Is the thing that's making us pay one more still out?
It's gone.
it's gone.
It's gone.
Sweet. Tap 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll play Calamity Bear. So if a giant source I control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double. And I'll pass.
Whoa.
Spooky.
That's
You do have
scary.
a combat step you need to get to.
Yeah, you have to go through
sorry,
combat.
I have to swing with Alexios, don't
Yep.
I?
Okay,
Will swing.
hold. Actually, hang on one sec. I might want to do something here before that enters. So your giants will double damage, and you have Brian. That's pretty far away. Do you want to have that enter tapped, or give me a 1/1
You know
lifelink?
what? You seem like a cool guy. I'll let you have your 1/1.
Thank you.
I forgot all about the charismatic conqueror. Yeah, that's what it is. Ixalan. It's from the Ixalan set. Yeah,
All right.
cool.
You're all good. You can proceed.
And then I will pass turn after that, my friend.
You have to attack with
You have to
the
go
thing.
combat.
Swing 5 at Sangretti. Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
took it.
Yeah, there we go.
Just grabbing my token for 1 sec. All right, on end step, I'll pay 1 and I'll cast Enlightened Tutor. So I search for a artifact or enchantment put into it on top of my library. I get Trouble in Pairs. Sorry about that. My hand bumped the back button. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. I used E-Tutor for Trouble in Pairs. That'll go on top of my deck. And then I guess I'll pay 1 and extort it. So everyone lose 1. I will gain, would be 3, but I lose 1 life from Horizon. So I'll just gain 2.
Sounds good.
And then this is only on my turn. So you don't gain life, right? Yeah. Untap, upkeep, draw.
Wait, did you just have a copy of Wedding Ring to just throw out on your board?
Yeah, my whole collection is like sorted. I spent like 18 months sorting my whole collection, so it's in like big boxes right next to me in alphabetical order.
So if you live in the Midwest, I'll like pay you and stuff.
I don't, unfortunately, and I wouldn't because it was a nightmare.
Shucky darn.
I actually had that same conversation with my wife. I was like, if I knew anyone I could like trust fully to do this, like I would pay them because it took forever.
I don't even care if I trust them fully. They can grift me a little. It's fine.
My collection is too expensive for me to be so
My
cavalier about it, unfortunately.
collection's upper 50s or 60,000s.
Of cards or dollars?
Dollars.
Oh, pretty good.
I've been playing for 28 years.
30 here. I
Just
will
10.
send. Oh, I have a. What is that thing called? Alexios?
Yeah, you have Alexios, so you'll have to go to combat. He's a 6/6 right now with trample.
Low. Okay.
Spooky.
I guess I will send Alexios at you, Brian, and I'll send this 1/1 life link and Sorin. Do you have any blockers? Zero?
Yeah.
I do not.
I'll send those both at you.
You'll send Sorin and the lifelinker.
Yes.
All right, I'll take 2, and I have taken 2 points of commander damage.
Yep. I'll gain 2, and so will you, Sangretti.
I'll lose 6.
Okay, and then I think that's Commander, right? Alexios.
Yeah.
All right. I'll cast the Trouble in Pairs. And
All right.
I'll pay 1 and extort it. So everyone lose 1. I will gain just 2 again because I have to lose life every time I tap the horizon. All right. That is all I got. Pass.
All right. Let's get lanes down. And I will cast Charisma Bobblehead. 3 mana taps for any one color. And it also has 4 tap it, create X 1/1 white soldier creature tokens, where X is the number of bobbleheads you control. Activate only as a sorcery. Goodness. Let us cast a Filth. It is a 4 mana incarnation for a 2/2. It has Swamp Walk, and as long as Filth is in your graveyard and you control a swamp, creatures you control have Swamp Walk.
I'll draw
So
1
it's
off
the
Trouble in
Wonder
Pairs.
or Haste of the Black Cycle. And I guess I have Alexios.
Yep, you have a 7/7 Alexios.
Understood. Who has 6/0? Okay, Surf, I'm going to send it your way. You've got less commander damage on you.
Sure. By the way, do you want your bobblehead and Filth to enter tapped?
No, go ahead and get your guys. You can
Okay.
use some of them as blockers.
Yeah. Thanks. All right, so I'll get 2 guys.
And after that, I will pass the turn.
Can I kill it? I can't kill it.
Oh, well, after you do your combat damage, I've got nothing else.
I'll
Yeah,
just double block with 2 vampires, so I'll
Okay.
gain 2, and then I'll take 5 commander. Is
You'll
that
take
right?
5 commander.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Untap, upkeep, and draw. I will play a land for turn. 5 lands. I will tap 4 to cast Mjolnir. Stormhammer.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
It's going to enter, and it'll be equipped to Alexios as part of its enter effect. And whenever equipped creature attacks, I'll tap target creature defending player controls, and then Mjolnir will deal damage to each opponent equal to the number of tapped creatures that opponent controls. I will also...
Do you want to have it enter tapped? I assume
What's
so.
that? It doesn't matter if it's tapped. It's still
Yeah.
equipped.
Yeah. Well, it
that's
only
fine.
matters for like improvise.
Yeah, true. I don't have any improvising here. And then this says whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, look at the top card of their library, then exile it face down for as long as it remains exiled. You may play it, and mana of any type can be spent to cast that spell. That really doesn't work in Spelltable.
We could just do face up.
What's that? Yeah, it
We
gives
could just do
everybody
it face up.
knowledge. It gives
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
knowledge, but I don't care. So instead, what I'll do is I'll use this last red mana to cast Sticky Fingers. So I'll enchant Alexios with that. It'll give it menace, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, I'll get a treasure token. Alexios also gets a +1/+1 counter on my upkeep, making it an 8/8 with
I'll
menace.
draw from Trouble in Pairs on your second spell.
Yeah, go ahead. So 8/8 with menace, and whenever I attack, it will tap a creature. Who has the most creatures? You have one creature, two creatures tapped. I would wind up tapping a third. I think my best value is to hit Surf, but that feels dirty. It's 8.
I mean, he does have trouble in pairs out, bro. So
It's 8. It won't kill you, so yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and swing Alexios at you, Surf. We'll tap it. So 8/8 with Trample and Menace, and I will tap down your Charismatic Conqueror. Attack
Ouch.
trigger that will deal 3 damage to all opponents.
Okay.
I guess
I'll
I should
take
stack it like this
11.
for Mjolnir. All right, and when that deals combat damage, that'll create a treasure token. I will.
Do you want to
designate
have it
treasure
enter
tokens here.
tapped?
Yep, it's tapped. I'll put this under it to designate that it's tapped. And then I will pass the turn.
All right, spooky.
Oh, I was supposed to draw a card on your turn, huh, Sangretti, from your draw step?
Yeah,
Did you draw on mine from my draw step?
I drew on yours.
Okay. I missed that, sorry.
Hey, you guys got your happy matrimony figured out? Good.
Yeah.
You control an Alexios. It is a 9/9.
Sweet.
Go ahead and swing it at me. I'll take it.
Naughty.
Yeah.
Um,
I think I'm at the lowest of
I got
the
6.
table, so hit me will pretty as much.
Yeah,
as
hitting Sangretti. Sangretti has 5. He's the lowest.
Yep. Okay, so I feel like I should just. I better. It's probably a stupid mistake. That's okay. I'm just gonna play my commander. Then, damn. I'm gonna go to combat. I'm gonna swing the Alexios over at Sangretti. And
It's 8, right?
What's up?
It's 8.
It's a 9/9. Also, it will tap your fear, and it'll deal 1 point of damage to all 3 of you.
And then I'm gonna swing. It's gonna be a quick game, boys. We're turning a lot of shit sideways. I'm gonna swing 6 over at Surf City, or no, 6 over at 0 point.
No blockers.
Yep, 6 over. You need some love, my friend.
And I believe Surf has an ETB trigger off of the creature entering.
So yeah, do you want to tap it?
What creature enters?
Brion Stoutarm.
Oh yeah, sure does.
It's funny because Brian and Caesar can sacrifice creatures, but Alexios specifically says can't be sacrificed.
I know it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. He
Power
might
creep
be
isn't
the
real. It
MVP.
can't hurt you. Yeah, and then after that, I'm just gonna have to pass. Good. Unfortunate.
All right. So tap. Keep draw. You can draw Sangretti.
Sounds good.
That's not a land.
Silent Arbiter's a Nombo with Alexios. Because if that's out, people could just choose to attack with a different creature.
Yeah.
Mm,
I'm going to have to
Yeah.
remove that card.
should probably play it.
I'm going to remove that. It's sitting in my hand right now. I'm super glad I'm not playing it.
Actually, Zero. How many cards do you have in hand?
I have 4 in my hand. Would you like to Jessica's will me? Oh wait, you're on white. You're in white black. You can't.
I'm in red. That's not the thing that I was thinking about.
How big is this monster? 10?
Alexios right now is a 10/10.
Ugh.
Interesting. Surf. Is
Yes.
there a way that you can keep up enough creatures to block Alexios? Because if you can get a large quantity of creatures, I think I can do something spicy.
A large quantity of creatures. More than I already have 4. How many are you
The
thinking?
more, the better.
He wants to swing Alexios into you and have you kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Um,
I'm just trying to figure out if I can do that. I don't.
You know what? Go ahead and take a turn to think about it. I can't play that spell this upcoming turn.
Well, I don't know if we have another turn to wait. I think we need to deal with it. So I'm going to try to deal with it. Can both of you are tapped out, right?
I
I'm
am tapped out.
Yeah, I don't think I can deal with it until after combat, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to hit one of you. What are you both at? You're at 6 and you're at 14. So I guess it's got to come your way, Brian. I'll go to combat and any blockers at this point, 0?
I have no blockers, no.
Okay. So I'm gonna send all these your way, 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total.
5
And
damage.
then Alexios is going your way, Brian. It's
Okay,
10,
on attack
10
trigger
trample.
from Brian, or on attack trigger from Alexios, Mjolnir will tap down Brian, and then it'll deal 2 damage to everyone.
I thought it was 3.
He only has 2 tapped creatures.
Oh, okay.
So it's based on the number of tapped creatures that the defender owns.
Got it.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
It's 10, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
I'll take 10, Commander.
All right. And then you took
don't forget to flip your planeswalker.
I will. I'm not done with combat yet, but thank you.
Okay.
0, you took your damage?
I did.
Okay, so I'll gain 3 from lifelink, and then Sorin will flip. I guess technically he's tapped. Don't think that matters. All right. Let's see what I can do here. 3. Six, 9. Damn, I'd have to gain 1 more somehow. Yeah, I think I just have to do this. I thought I would have a better play, but I don't think I do. I'll pay 4. Oh, actually, I can make an extra mana with the tower. Would that work? Yeah, that'll work. All right, I'm gonna tap the tower and sack Vampire for double black. And then I'll pay a white and cast Soul's Attendant. And I'll pay one of my blacks, so I'll float 1 black to extort. So everyone lose 1, I gain 3.
Hey, there's another valid target for Alexios that isn't a player now.
Yeah. I'm actually going to attack Sorin.
That's probably the smartest thing to do.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Well, I don't want to kill Brian, and I don't want to kill you.
I've gained
I did not realize how turn warping this guy actually was.
6.
I
Yeah,
built
that's
a
why he
Slicer
was.
deck, but I never played it.
Imagine if he had had that first hand with the Mana Crypt and Mox.
I had him out on turn 1.
Yeah. I'm just sorry to take so much time. I'm just trying to figure out
Take as much
if
time
I
as you need
have
to.
the. I think I'm 1 mana short. That's sad. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. I can do 9. Bummer. All right. I'm just gonna pay 1, 2, 3, 4, losing 1 from Horizon, and I'll cast Abstruse Appropriation targeting Alexios.
Doing what?
I'm targeting Alexios with Abstruse Appropriation.
Ooh, what's that do?
It's just an exile effect that is not going to do anything else because it's on a commander, but
Hell yeah.
it exiles a non-land permanent, and I can cast that card for as long as it remains exiled,
I'll
and
put it in
can
my
use
command zone.
colorless mana. Yeah, so doesn't do anything else.
Are you sorting that?
I wish I could, but I do not have any mana.
Gotcha.
So I've gained 6. I can shoot something for 6. I don't think there's anything I really want to shoot. I'm just gonna plus and make a food, and I'll pass.
All right. Untap, upkeep, draw. I'm gonna play a Vault of the Archangel.
Don't
I'll
forget to
draw as well.
untap filth.
It's got a stun counter on it, right?
Oh, no. Wait. You're absolutely right, it does. Sorry about that.
So all good.
Forgetting what my own damn cards do.
So let's play my commander and play Wand of the World Soul. I will have this guy enter untapped, giving you a 1/1. And then this guy will come and tap regardless, but it taps for white, and it also has the activated ability of tap. The next spell you cast this turn has Convoke.
You played 2 spells, right?
Yes.
All right, I'll draw.
And with that, I will pass the turn.
Okay. Untap, upkeep, and draw. Play this land for turn. Then we will tap 3, play Commander Sphere. That's my first spell for the turn.
Okay.
And I'm going to tap 3 more. And here's my second spell for the turn, a Sword of Light and Shadow.
Okay.
Pro White Black seems pretty good.
Pro White
Do you
Black.
want either one to come in tapped?
Oh, they can both enter tap. That's fine. Thank you for reminding me. They can both enter tapped, and I will pass the turn.
All right, it's coming out next turn.
Damn, that sucks. Oh well. 1, 2, 3. Call the Gatewatch. I'm gonna get a Planeswalker. Sorry, I'm doing math. This still wouldn't fucking matter. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
I like your searching the library elevator music.
Yeah, the theme music. All right, sweet. So I'm gonna get Koth, Fire of Resistance. I'm gonna put him in hand, and I'm gonna go to combat. What do you got for blockers over there, 0 point?
Nada.
I'm going to do 4 lifelink, which becomes 8 for Calamity Bearer.
You gonna hit me for how much?
4, which becomes 8 because it gets doubled.
8 commander.
So, 8 lifelink. Sweet. And then after that, I will cast turn.
All
Tap
right.
up key. Draw. Oh, thank God, I drew land finally. Alright. We'll go to combat. I'll send 4 over at you 0. Conquer 2 lifelinkers. I'm not sure if you're still a threat at this point, but you are the only one that's open.
I mean, look.
I just want to gain life.
I deserve it.
It's
I'm
the
not saying I
interesting
don't.
commander, but goddamn, that gets out of hand quick.
It puts a target on your back. Holy crap! I love the fact that this is go fast, go bonk, and that there's nothing I can do to fix it.
It works. I love it.
I'll tap 2. I'll sack a vampire, make 2 on the tower. Sure. Speaking of targets, don't even worry, you guys. It's fine. I'll play Archangel of Doom. I guess I should have done that before combat, but I didn't. So I'll gain 1, and then that'll trigger, and I'll get a +1 counter on all my creatures.
You gained another life?
I did, yes.
Gotcha.
And then I'll pass. Oh, I'll plus Sorin. Just give him up to 7.
Alrighty. Untap upkeep, draw. That's a funny card. Let's go with putting that and that there. Putting this here. 4 left. Okay. I'm going to cast Cabal, Profiteering Mayor. 1 white black for a 2/4 human advisor. Whenever 1 or more tokens enter the battlefield under your opponent's control, for each of them, create a tapped token that's a copy of it. This ability triggers only once each turn. Whenever 1 or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. I will have this enter untapped, so I will get one of your tapped vampires and I'll deal damage to everybody.
Okay. I have 2.
But with Matt, you'll gain that life back because I deal damage to you, gain a life, and then on my turn you gain 1 life.
Right. I also gained 2 from Cabal entering and from my vampire entering off the Soul's Attendant. So
sounds good.
I have 3 instances of life gain, but I'll only gain 2. Right?
So
Is that right?
Yeah, you have 3 instances of life gain. You'll only gain 2.
Okay, so my creatures will all get +3 counters. It's fine.
I'd like to go to combat.
Where are you getting the counters from? That's because
Archangel of Thune.
Yep, Archangel of Thune. I didn't recognize the art.
I'm gonna send 4 at.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
And then I'm gonna send 2 at 0. But I'm gonna sacrifice filth to draw a card, lose a life, and to make 2 1/1s coming in tapped and attacking 0. So I'll deal 2 to the table.
Okay, so you're sacrificing before damage is dealt,
Yes.
but you're also creating 2 tokens.
Yes.
So do I take
So-
damage from those 2 tokens getting created?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll take the 2 damage off the top from the tokens entering.
And then the 2 will hit it.
And then I'll take another 2 from the creatures.
Sounds good. I now
I'll
have
take
Spelltable for all my creatures, so I'll just hit 4 to Sorin.
Yep. I'm taking 0 because I lose 2, gain 2, and then I put 2 counters
No, I'm
on
dealing
everything.
damage to Sorin.
Oh,
No,
No,
he's
well-
talking about from the tokens
The
entering.
Planeswalker.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorin will take 4.
Just
I
taking
can't block.
4 off the loyalty.
I know. I was describing the
Gotcha.
ETB on your tokens.
And with that, I will pass to 0.
All right, there is nothing I can do here. Let's go. Okay, untap, upkeep, and draw. What am I doing? What am I doing here? Okay, that is not going to be enough mana for me to do what I need to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It totally is. Number of cards in hand, please, for everybody.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I got
8.
7.
Somebody has 8 cards.
I have 8, yeah.
Okay, we're going to tap 6.
Don't wheel.
We're going to tap 6. We're going to play Alexios.
Oh, he's going to Justice.
Then I'm going to tap 3, sacrifice this treasure token. It's going to go away. Tap this, and I'm going to Justice
Are you
Will.
going to have your guy enter tapped or give him a token?
You can have your guy.
Oh, cool.
So I'm going to create 8 black
I'll
mana,
deal 1
or
damage
8
to
red
the
mana.
board.
8 black mana.
Yeah, 8 black mana. Yeah, give me 8
Hell
black
yeah,
mana.
what Jessica's
Gimme! Gimme!
Yeah, I'll draw a card on cast of that, so you'll get an extra mana.
Oh, true story. I will.
Mhm.
Thank you.
And
All right, so I have
just-
9 mana, and I'm going to exile the top 3 cards of my library. It's a land, a Goblin Engineer, and a Ruby Medallion.
Ruby Medallion feels good.
Ruby Medallion feels good. I'm not sure if it feels good on the whole, though. I have 9 mana. I'm going to sacrifice Commander Sphere. I'm going to draw a card.
Oh, I gain 1 more from your commander entry.
Excuse me.
You're going to gain 1 more for what?
I got 1 from the vampire and 1 from the
Oh, and then I
commander
just
entry.
drew my second card. Okay.
Oh, I-
Then,
Didn't, no. I'm drawing second card, I just draw a card.
yeah, okay.
There's no
So-
token for that.
This is in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to use 2 of that mana to cast Thrill of Possibility, discarding Agitator Ant. Draw 2 cards. I will then spend 4, 7, 11, 13. I'll cast Excalibur Sword of Eden for free.
Sweet.
Spooky.
I'll pay 2 to equip it to Alexios. So that'll. Sorry, my new equip pile is going to be over here. Another 5.
Hold on a sec. Let me think about this. So how big is it going to be on?
It'll
Brian's
be a
turn?
14-14.
It's going to be
Oh, it's plus
thing's
10 plus
shining
0.
like- that thing's shining.
Sorry,
like
it'll be a 14-4.
Elven steel, bro. Like it's sensing an orc in its presence or something.
14.
It'll be a 14. Oh shit! That's
Shining,
glaring.
bro.
I just saw that. Whoa, woof.
Okay.
All right, let's move this stuff over here.
Okay. All good. Proceed.
Okay, so Excalibur, equipped to Alexios. That costs 2 mana. Paid that already. I'll pay 2 more to equip the Sword of Light and Shadows. Does that resolve?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
Okay, so
Yeah, I'm fucked.
+2/+2 pro white black. Did I play a land for turn? I don't know if I did. Truly don't
Misplayed.
know if I did. Since I don't know, I'm going to err on the side of caution and say I did, so I'm not going to.
Yeah, you played a land for turn.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, then I'm going to spend 2 of this mana to cast Ruby Medallion. And then I'm going to spend the last mana to cast Goblin Engineer.
I'll gain 1.
So when Goblin Engineer enters, I'll search my library for an artifact card. I'll put it in the graveyard.
Do you want to bring in the engineer tapped?
What's that? Oh
You're
no, the
gonna
engineer
tap.
doesn't matter. He can come in.
Yeah.
He can come in tapped. That's fine. Ruby Medallion also comes in tapped. Convert mana cost 3 or less. We'll just go grab a commander's plate. All right. Now I will pass the turn.
Hell yeah.
Oh, way. All right.
So, Brian's going to wind up getting an Alexios that is now a 17/7 with pro white black.
What you can do is you can attack the Planeswalker and blanket for a turn.
That is something you can do.
That is true. This
Yeah.
is true.
Unless you want to eliminate one of them, because that is also something you can do.
Yeah, because you have blockers up right now, 0 point.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you're like,
You can just kill me.
You're for sure gone.
Yeah, exactly. So you can get your damage in with him, and I'm still dead.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is play Koth Fire Resistance for turn.
I didn't freaking think of that.
Hmm?
I died to the crackback because this came in
Then
tapped.
I'll take him to 6. I'm gonna go get a mountain. Put it in hand. Jesus. Okay, cool. Go grab that. Then I'll play it for turn. I am going to swing the big guy at. Let's see. You got Campbell. Commander damage from Alexios, Surf City.
It'll kill
It
either
will
one
kill
of them.
me.
It will kill
Oh
either
yeah,
one of them.
for sure.
It'll be lethal regardless.
Let's do Surf City. He's got the best value engine going on.
Are you telling me my 4/1/1s aren't good enough for you?
Yeah, something like that. Kumbal's a problem. Don't get me wrong, but I just you don't have trouble in pairs. God, that card is so good. Yeah, it's going to Surf City, and then I'm gonna do 4 commander, which becomes 8 per Calamity Bear. It's a 0 point with 8 lifelink.
I should have brought him in untapped.
I didn't have haste, did it? Oh, I know it could block.
I just needed a blocker.
I will
So
sack
will I
this
get land
Horizon of.
No blocks declared.
Well, I'm going to sack this Horizon of Progress to try to draw a miracle. And I'll die.
Okay, sweet.
Oh,
So
shit.
yeah, I'll get that 8 lifelink, and then I will unfortunately have to pass.
On your end step,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna cast a Dictative Erebos.
Yeah.
You know what that does?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it's just a 1v1 now, right?
Yeah, you got it. So I'm stacking creatures whether I like it or not.
Yeah. Let's consolidate this to be just 4/1/1s. Alrighty. Let us do Skull Clamp. I will clamp a soldier, draw 2. And you will sacrifice a creature. I'm going to cast Lolth the Spider Queen. She'll come out with 4 loyalty. She has a triggered ability of whenever a creature you control dies, put a loyalty counter on Lolth Spider Queen. She has pay 0, draw a card, and lose life. -3, create 2 2/1 black spider creature tokens with menace and reach. And -8, you get an emblem with whenever an opponent is dealt combat damage by one or more of your creatures. If they lost less than 8 life, they lose life equal to the difference. Did I play a land? I don't think I did. I'm going to play a mountain.
Okay.
I'm going to 0, draw a card, and lose a life. And I will go to combat. Brian, your Planeswalker's at 6, right?
He is a 6 currently.
Cool. I'm going to send both of my non-token creatures, which is 6, coming at Koth. And I'm going to send 3 1/1s coming at you.
Cool.
But I'm going to sack 1 to generate 2 that are coming in tapped and attacking you to your face.
Yep.
Get a loyalty, and yep.
I'll
And I'll draw a card with
Brian
life.
or sack. Yeah, sweet. Okay, yep, that happens, and I will take how much?
It will be 4 total.
4 total. Okay, I'll be at 31.
I will 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to equip Skull Clamp to Caesar. And with that, I will pass the turn.
I'm just gonna tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you just have Wedding Ring out as well as Dictative Erebos, correct?
Yeah. I also have a Skull Clamp and a couple of Mana Rocks.
Couple Mana Rocks too. Yeah, we can dance. We can dance. Yeah, we're gonna tap 5, and I'll Cleansing Nova and destroy all artifacts and enchantments.
Sounds like a plan.
You're gonna kill his spouse and then just destroy his wedding ring? You're a monster.
Yep.
Avenge me, husband.
Master?
Husband, son. Woo-hoo. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to play a Field of the Dead tapped. It will not trigger. It now has 5. I'm going to 0, draw a card, lose a life. Ooh. 1 black, 1 white, and 2 red. I will cast Sorin Solemn Visitor, 3 for a 4 mana 4 for not a 4/4, but a 4 loyalty. I'm going to uptick 1 to give all my creatures lifelink and +1/+1 until my turn. It has a -2 of put a 2/2 black vampire creature token with flying onto the battlefield, and a -6 of you get an emblem with at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature. Let's go to combat. I'm going to send 5 commander at you, a 3 on the ground, and then do the whole sacking and drawing and making 2 creatures. So it'll be 10 on the ground, 5 commander, and then 3 on the ground.
So 18 total. Yeah, I'll be at 13.
Alrighty. I'll gain a loyalty counter on here, and I will pass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll discard Magmatic Force.
Okay, sweet.
I should probably get that life on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the move is mountain for land for turn, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Mulligans.
Hell yeah.
Yep, so highest life total among your opponents, run it up half of it, so he's now at 25. I was just a day late and a dollar short with this fucking deck with my mana. If I could have just flung it with Brian, man, that's all right. So 25, and that's all I got, unfortunately.
All right. Let's play a mountain and play a Timely Soul Ring. And then 1, 2. Let's draw a card first. Sick. I'm going to uptick. All my creatures gain lifelink, and +1/+1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Understellar Sweep. It is a 5-mana enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, take the initiative. I'm going to go get a basic Swamp to hand, but it also has whenever you attack. If you or a player you're attacking has the initiative, you create 2 1/1 white soldier tokens that are tapped and attacking. Let's get basic Swamp to hand. And I will, have any swamps. I'm going to send 5 2/1s at you. I'm going to have Understellar Sweep trigger, make 2 1/1s that are tapped and attacking. Then I'm going to sack 1 to Caesar, have 2 come in, tapped and attacking, and then draw a card. And then lose a life. So you have 5 2/1s with lifelink and 3 1/1s coming at you.
Yeah, okay, I'll block one of the 2s, and I think will be 11, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll be at 2. Is that a pass after that?
Almost.
Okay.
7 loyalty. You know what? Yeah, I'll pass after that.
Okay. Keep. No.
Oh, Yeah.
Let's see here. What have you got up? Kimball. Him. Yeah, so I'm gonna do is tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to play Furbolg Flutist, and I'm going to gain control of target creature I don't control. It gains
Sweet.
haste and myriad until end of turn.
Hell yeah.
Which I'm thinking.
Love that card.
Probably be Caesar, I guess.
Hell yeah, you got Caesar.
Sweet. And then when he attacks, I'll do his trigger. And
Well, he won't have Myriad because of there's no other opponents, right? So it's just Steel.
yeah,
effect.
just him. Yeah, he can't be Myriad because he's legendary. But yeah, so and it's not super awesome, but yeah, I guess I'll just create 2 1/1s that are also tapped and attacking and sack for Bold Flutist, and then come at you with 25 Malignus.
All right.
Damage can't be permitted.
With the combat triggers on the stack, I'm going to cast Mandate of Peace. Cast a spell only during combat. Your opponents can't cast spells this turn. End the combat phase.
Yup, you got it. Yep, you win, bro. You got it. Pretty
All
good.
right, sir.
Caesar deck.
Nice.
That's pretty
Well played.
cool. Hell yeah. Good playing, guys.
Yeah, good game.
Game.
I loved it.
Nicely done.
It was pretty sweet. It was a cool game.
Yeah.
Dude,
Agreed.
that Alexios was pretty fucking popular.
Yeah, I fucks with it. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
I like
It's-
it.
it's kind of
I'm
one of
not
those
sure how I
things
feel about
where-
the power level.
No, it was. I think it was a good power level.
Yeah.
That
was
mana
fun.
crypt start would have been nuts. It's like, all right, turn one
Yeah.
Alexios.
We
Let's
would have
have
been dead
fun.
if that was the case.
I'm happy you guys spread the damage out like you did and made sure to not kill any one person with it. It made the game go a little bit longer and nicer.
Yeah.
It made me feel
Yeah, I
like
thought it
less
was fun.
too.
It's like a different kind of game, but it's still fun. I wouldn't want to play it against it every game, but
I don't think I'd want to play it every game.
yeah, it's like a little mini game. Like you have to figure out how to work together to not lose to
If
it.
you guys have if you guys give me 5 minutes, I have a meeting I have to get to real quick, but I'm happy to play another one.
I'm gonna
I
be
have-
calling it a night.
I have to go too, but
Yeah, I've got work.
feel free to add me on Discord. You guys were fun to play with, so I'd love to play
Yeah.
again.
You said you